fellow associates, I'd like to welcome you to our presentation. We are going to go over some of the pros and cons of entering the German economy and just some facts about the overall German economy.
Alright, so starting off with inflation, we've just drawn a graph for the past 6 years from 2013 to 2018. It's kind of been all over the place, but the main key note is that they haven't had any deflation since 1986.
So now we're going to talk about GDP. GDP is gross domestic product. It's a measure of the total final sales of an economy. Germany has the world's fourth largest economy by GDP, 4.1 trillion in US dollars annually. They've seen per capita $42,117 this year in GDP, and they've seen constant growth throughout the last 6 years of between 1.2 and 1.6%.
To cover some other countries in terms of debt to GDP ratio, it has a similar debt to GDP ratio percentage with Bolivia and Malaysia, which isn't necessarily a good thing. It's more of a negative side because those two countries are much less developed than Germany, and it has just been a great thriving country in terms of production. So like I just said, it's been a great country in terms of production. Just for a few examples, products like Mercedes, Audi, Hugo Boss, and Jägermeister are 4 companies that have really succeeded. And yeah, that's a lot of that. All right, to elaborate a little bit on the automotive industry, it generated roughly 426 billion euros last year, which is about $470 billion, compared to 423 billion euros the year before. Volkswagen topped the group ranking of leading motor manufacturers with over 10.8 million units sold worldwide, which is interesting because it was competing against luxury brands like BMW, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz. So part of government involvement, last year there was a 5.5% tax reduction on the corporate income tax, so that'll help businesses come into the country. And the Export Credit Agency is one of the main agencies in the government that deals with fiscal policy.
Recently, the German government has implemented many tax cuts, especially for businesses, but there's still more of a classical economy. The German economy and its citizens have, especially since the 2008 recession, been very against taking on new debts. For example, many of the citizens don't use credit cards. They have a 36% credit card ownership as opposed to 60% in the United States by the age of 16. And many Germans won't buy a house until they can absolutely afford it and choose to rent instead. This leads to slower growth, but more steady growth and less severe economic fluctuations.
Well, we hope you guys enjoy listening to some of our pros and cons about why you should open up a business here in Germany, and we only hope that you make a good decision.